Hello, and welcome to Shite Talk, an Irish history podcast. I'm going to keep the intro short. I say that every time I do this, and then it'll take like 2 or 3 minutes. But we've got a live gig on the 25th of May in the Wild Duck in Temple Bar in Dublin. If anyone would like to go to that, we'll have some drinks after, tell a story during. We'll see what else we get up to. It'll be an anniversary of our 4th year, I believe, of launching the podcast. So that'll be a bit of fun. And other than that, go check out the Patreon. There's a bunch of episodes up on that already, probably about 50 or 60. There's also a part 2 to this week's episode, which is about William O'Shaughnessy, an Irish guy who was did a lot of stuff for the medical ganja, and for the day that's in it, 420, Hitler's birthday. But there's a few other doctors that we didn't quite get to in this that were pretty influential in Irish history for medicinal herb and such. So there's about half an hour of extra chat over there, along with all the live episodes we've done, with all the cowboy specials, about like Sean Quinn, Pat Hickey, who's John Delaney on that as well. There's a load of things. So you can go check all of that out. And other than that, enjoy the episode, enjoy 420, those that partake, and Shafter, chat to you next week.
Gather around now, you're in for a story. Old tales of lore, on search of a glory. The history and mystery of lads, lasses and all. Discoveries and voyages, the rise and the fall. Follow me now as we go back in time. We trace the steps of Irish lineage to find. Joseph from Carlisle and Kevin the dog. Guide you through the ways of shine.
You lost today, kid, but you don't gotta like it.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that light on?
Yeah, the light's on. Yeah.
The red light?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's gonna...
Yeah. Red light show the doors are secure.
Indicates.
What are you talking
Indicators!
about? Who... You put a guitar in the room. Did Dan tell you to do that?
And a map.
Yeah, but now every time you shout loudly, the guitar vibrates. Are you hearing that?
No, it's not coming through. But this will... I can't
you
reach
missed it. Wait, isn't this... Indicates!
Indicator! Oh, maybe a little bit.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
good.
That's pretty cool. That's... Yeah, I'm sure that's what we brought Dan in to look at the room. Is like, what can we do to fix this? Like, yeah, put an acoustic guitar in the corner. I mean, anytime we fucking wobble, it'll knock around.
Yeah.
And put a map up so we can point to it and let people know...
Abyssinia.
Where... Yeah, it's a map from the 1940s. Yeah, we can point that and let people know where in the world we're talking about today. I know what we're talking about today.
Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
I don't know. That's good. I know what we're talking about today, though, so I dressed in my coolest clothes.
Mm-hmm. I didn't.
No.
Because I don't touch the devil's lettuce.
Yeah. Neither do I, but
anymore.
I'm trying... this is what I think I'd try to fit in.
But you think this is what people who smoke the Ganja...
Yeah. This what?
Is that full of bubbles?
It's actually empty. It's not full of anything. But
I'd asked before if we were going to do this episode, would I be allowed to have partaken in arts and crafts
yeah.
beforehand? And you said no.
No, that's not true.
That is true.
No, that's not. That makes me sound like a square. I said, no way, Daddy.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. You know we're a teetotaler podcast. You can't smoke or drink before the show.
We don't have coffee.
No.
It's only the
it's only
Barry's
tea.
finest.
Look at it, we're just drinking my waddy.
That's all that's in this.
Did you put some vodka in yours?
I did. I was getting over,
cube.
for any of the Patreon subscribers, you'd have at some point, I don't know if it'll come out. Oh, this will be out before that.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, we watched this terrible film called Hard Times.
Yeah. And then Jason fell on Hard Times when he deleted all the video from an interview with Fintan. And now
we had Fintan O'Toole,
O'Toole,
which will be out before. That's last week's episode.
Yeah, you'll know that.
Yeah.
But he deleted all the video.
I was flustered.
Yeah, you were flustered.
I was writing this episode as I was setting the room up. 2 cameras, 2 mics, a light, getting ready to go and take photos. and then organising to go back home.
Yeah, you know what? Better delete everything.
Better delete
Better
everything.
delete
I
everything.
got, yeah.
I'm flustered. It's fight or flight or delete everything. Reformat the SD card. But now, well, at
these
least
things
you're
happen.
like Don Draper. You're like, what? One of life's problems? I'll just drink some vodka.
Just have a little...
That'll be the end of that. Whereas me, I'd roll with it, man.
I wish I had a roll before we'd
Yeah.
started. But...
I don't know where the fuck this came from. I don't know what I'm sucking on, to be honest. Well, yeah.
I can't take you seriously with that earring.
I don't know if the camera's picking up how cool I am right now.
But
Lay it on me.
Well, we'll see if it comes
Just
naturally.
delete the episode as well.
I've deleted
Delete the
this.
script.
This is all
It's just said,
off the dome.
just says fucking blaze up, raise up, and stays up.
Well, and you're saying teetotal earlier on.
Yeah.
Tea used to be the name for it in like America back in like the 30s or 40s, because it's all Kerouac always calls it tea in On the Road, and there's a few other places that it's any tea because it looks like it.
Yeah.
And then at New Year's I was at a party and someone was actually, in lieu of tobacco,
Using tea.
doing straight heroin. I was like, I don't know if that's any better for you.
I don't know. Maybe it is time to start doing heroin. Yeah. You know, sometimes you're like, I don't know, heroin can't be that addictive. I don't understand addiction. My ear is infected, or it's getting on the way, because I keep like poking it.
And you're addicted to poking it.
But even now, it's got like, when I was first doing it, it was like ecstatic. It felt great. It was really relieving. And now, as soon as I do it, it's sore, and I can't stop.
I thought you meant it was a static. Like every time you touched it, you got a shock.
I got a shock. But I understand addiction now, is what I'm saying. This is on such a small level. I'm not getting any pleasure from it, and I know it, and I can't stop doing it.
That's fair.
And I'm going to fuck up my ear. I shouldn't be allowed near heroin at all. But tell me about this other man.
Right. Born in Limerick, 1809, to assume a mixed marriage.
Oh.
Because he had the Church of Ireland clergyman as uncles on one side.
Okay.
And on the other, you've got a big, dirty Catholic bishop and the Dean of Ennis.
Okay.
He was just the most popular dean in Ennis.
Yeah. So
I don't know what a dean is.
It's just a man called Dean from Ennis. So he's got
because I googled it and it came up with some Gaelic football player
called Dean Ennis. Yeah. So he's got clergy to the left of him, clergy to the right of him.
Here I am,
stuck in the middle with a Jew.
He went to Trinity College.
Right, so he's a Protestant.
Yeah. Well, only for a little while, because so he goes there first, but then goes over to the University of Edinburgh.
Nice. To
the medical school there.
Yeah.
And this would be around the late 1920s. 1820s. Yeah. This would be around the late 1820s.
Okay.
So there's a one Robert Knox who'd be lecturer in there.
Yes.
So there's a lot to be said for...
So Burke and Hare are knocking around.
They're knocking around.
Nice.
That they probably would have... Also, this guy's name is William Brooke O'Shaughnessy.
Yeah.
There's a good chance that the cadavers he would have worked on and learnt from in his time in Edinburgh were supplied by Burke and Hare.
Damn.
So he probably would have seen all of those ones that we went through in that Burke and Hare episode with the wonderful Ben Verth.
Yeah, that's great.
After college, he worked under William Allison, who was a pioneer of sorts in Scotland.
Okay.
He had this whole idea of what if we help the poor. That was revolutionary at the time.
What sort of deranged lunatic have they let loose in Scotland?
Well, that's what everyone else thought at the time. They were like, this was when cholera was big, high in fashion at the time.
I like this first album.
The ambient sounds of cholera in 1985.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to stop saying 90s because it's not.
No, I know that. I'm just ignoring every time you say it.
And as I've said it, I've looked down at the next two paragraphs and I've wrote down 90s. I'm not even just getting it wrong in my head now. I changed that on the fly. So, there's the William Allison fella. Just as a little bit of background. He wants to help the poor. He says, if you help the poor,
you educate them, you give them some money, you help their standards of living.
Yeah.
They won't get as sick, and therefore the country won't be as sick and won't be under as much pressure to pay for all the hospital and medical work needed for all of this.
Yeah. I assume at some point in this story someone's going to execute him.
Oh, so
Put him in a lunatic asylum.
This is the only paragraph he'll come into.
Okay.
But it's just as background, as colour, basically, just to say that William
cholera.
seems like a nice colour. Yeah, that's pretty good.
No, it wasn't.
That I made you laugh yesterday with a seafood diet joke.
Yeah, oh, that was pretty good.
That wasn't good.
That was good. I'm on a seafood diet. When I see food, I check if it's fish, and if it is, I eat that. I like that.
But I'm laughing at my own joke. That was pretty good. Once you hear someone else do it,
Once you hear someone do it, but better.
because I've said it, I think it's terrible. And then as soon as
You
I
don't though, because you brought it up
hear,
now to make me
it's a pretty
do
good
it.
joke.
It's a pretty good joke.
But the country wouldn't be as sick.
Yeah, I mean that is like if everyone was just healthier, you wouldn't need to spend as much. Hospitals wouldn't be as overcrowded.
Mm-hmm.
That means when you, a rich person, gets sick, you won't. I mean, they're not going to die waiting anyway. They're just going to skip the queue. But yeah, if everyone's more educated, has access to healthcare,
They'll stop having kids.
everyone will just. Yeah, that's true.
Mm.
It upsets the balance. But it doesn't matter anyway because the UK never copped on to this.
No. But then on the opposite side of that argument, you've got, if we give them money,
Yeah.
they'll just keep leeching and stay poor for the rest of their life, but have it easy. And that's not what your tax dollars that you're stealing from foreign countries are paying for.
Yeah. So what do you do?
Oh, no, that's still up for debate. I think
I think they're still trying to figure that one out.
But that's just to say that he seems like a sound enough fella.
Yeah.
Right? Now, he graduates around 1829,
Okay.
goes down to London,
Yeah.
and when he finds it tough to get a job down there in a hospital because
He's a dirty Mick.
Yeah, he's Irish, and they don't explicitly say that, but that they're like, you don't have all the proper qualifications, right? You've got an MD from the most respected medical school, basically.
Yeah, in Scotland.
In the world, basically, at that time, though. Robert Knox.
Yeah, Robert fucking... Yeah, I don't think we've got any room for you here. I think your fucking degree from Buckfast Abbey or wherever you got it from up there. I've got a major in medicine and a minor in iron brew.
So he can't get a job in like one of the accepted into like I guess like research places or any of the major hospitals doing what he wants to do. So instead of that, he sets up his own forensic lab, forensic science.
Nice.
He's working for doctors. He's
Okay.
working for the police. He's working for the courts.
Okay. He's working for the people.
In 1831, on the side business away from the forensics that he's doing,
Yeah.
he's off studying cholera victims.
Okay.
He's deduced that the blood that you take out when you do a sample, also it's very just kind of, I know it's what you have to do, medicine and stuff. You're like,
Sure.
you're sick, we should probably test your blood, but like taking blood out of sick people
Yeah.
is not.
How is he doing with, syringes, I guess? Or they're just at this stage, just slash in a bucket?
Yeah. But he's realised
Yeah.
all of this blood is
These
lacking
Yeah.
oxygen and salt. So he starts injecting dogs
Is he? Okay.
to replace these. And once those experiments go well, I guess dogs got cholera.
Wait, what? He's he's injecting dogs with cholera and then shortly afterwards oxygen and salt.
I'd say he's just finding these dogs naturally got cholera. I don't want to besmirch the good man's name. I'm not going to be out here saying that he was injecting dogs
Yeah.
with cholera, but he was injecting them with salt and oxygen.
Yeah.
And
In fairness, when you go to most dog parks, you see a lot of dogs with collar and leashes. They've got most of the dogs have collar.
these experiments were further developed on by Thomas Aitchison Latta, just call him Dr. Latta.
Yeah.
So they created the IV drip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he basically invented cholera. He invented the cure for cholera. Now, other people had said that this might be a thing before, or maybe I don't know. But he went up there, figured it out. He went and also he had to go to Sunderland to do this.
So extra points.
So that's like a Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah. And what are you saying? He invented the IV drip, or he just helped use it?
That the next guy who, as soon as he read his reports, that he was like, all right, what if we try this? And then that went on to the intravenous, like giving people the drip. So you're like, what do we need? Your just blood has no oxygen or salt, so they just give you a load of salt in your blood.
Okay. I've seen.
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah. I'm very impressed behind the sunglasses. I know some friends of mine, medical professionals, have used IV drips after a hangover.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he can't get a job still after this, seemingly. Now, I think a big part of it is in England and Europe, they tend to take to the IV drips. But one of the big things is over in the States that they don't use the IVs.
Oh.
Because they think that they're unsanitary, they can be contaminated and dirty, and then that a lot of the people that they give them to die, so that's the reason for them dying is they had an IV drip.
Yeah.
But the reason, the only time they give them an IV drip is when they're on death's door. So you have such a small chance.
Yeah.
And then 1/3 of those people still come back. And they're like, we'll only use this as a last resort. And it's still saving 1/3 of people. And anyone else that dies because they haven't been treated yet, they go, that's probably the IVs, man.
Probably the IVs. But they're Euro trash scum, and I don't want them.
At that stage, they would have all been Euros themselves. They would have all just moved over.
Yeah.
So the East India Trading Company.
Yeah.
1833, he takes a job with them. Around that time, seemingly 30% of Trinity engineering graduates went over there to work for the East India Trading Company. Oh. Or it's not, I don't think it's even called the Trading Company. It's just East India Company.
The East India Company, yeah.
Yeah.
The bad guys from Pirates of the Caribbean, mostly.
Who's?
The East India Trading Company.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, in the first, you think it's the ghost skeletons, and then as the films progress, you realize that actually capitalism was the bad guy all along.
It wasn't the ghost octopus man.
No, it wasn't Davy Jones himself, the ghost of an octopus man dragging ships to the bottom of the sea. What were the ships doing there? That's what you gotta ask yourself. Colonialism.
Where were they getting those diamonds?
Yeah, listen, and it's the media is just putting the fucking land onto the pirates. Pirates are just trying to do a job like everyone else.
You gonna start up a Rumble account just to defend pirates?
I don't know if I want to know what Rumble is, but I mean,
you just like that IRAs in their name.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
You look like the most laid back provo I've ever seen.
Yeah. This is the millennial provos now. I've got my green military jumper on. PIRAtes.
He published in The Lancet, a medical journal, I guess.
Yeah.
This is actually before he gets there, so I'm just going to run through all of his accomplishments, because then there's going to be a big twist, and I'm going to be like, we're not here to talk about any of this.
Don't tell people there's a twist.
No, there's a big, huge twist,
Okay.
and I'm going to be like, I'm going to tell you all of these class things he did, and they're like, surely there's enough there for a whole episode about those, and you'd think that, and it'd probably be true, but that's not what we're here to talk about. But poison confectionery, the detection of gamboff, lead, copper, mercury, and chromate of lead in various articles of sugar confectionery was an article he published. Talked to the Home Secretary about this. There's a load of candy at the time that was just laced with mercury and lead and copper. You're like, well, that's how you change colour of things.
Yeah, how else am I supposed to dye this raspberry ripple red?
But so he did that. That was a big thing. Saved a lot of people.
I'd say people fucking hated him for that.
He published his own independent design for an electric motor in 1837.
Okay.
He came up with the idea of coating iron in zinc to stop pipes from rusting.
Okay.
This is before the invention of galvanizing.
Yeah, we still have rusty pipes today, though.
It's because galvanizing didn't do it.
Okay.
Paul galvanized. But he figured out how to remove water from gun cotton.
It's a type of gin.
No, it's a way to, because I was thinking like clothes,
right?
But it's not. It's for manufacturing arms.
Yeah. Okay.
It's big long arms.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not giving him much of a chance here because it was he figured out how to make pipes not rust. I was giving out to him because we still have rusty pipes, but he got water out of gun cotton. And that isn't an issue today, so
yeah.
Fair play to him. He
Right.
solved it.
I looked it up and I saw just one video. There's like, this is what regular cotton is, and a little guy lit that on fire, and yeah, it just slowly burnt, and then at the end you're left with this tiny little bit of like black soot
Yeah.
that's kind of left over, and gun cotton just goes poof, and it's gone.
Is that good?
Yeah, I mean,
Looks good.
it looked cool in the video to
Yeah,
me.
Fair enough.
He figured out how to add color to daguerre photography.
Now that is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That before then just all black and white, and now it's shades of grey.
Who is this man that's
This is
doing all
William
these things?
Brooke O'Shaughnessy.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a great inventor.
He's getting a lot done. In
He might have been the
fairness
first ever photographer in India.
to him. Okay.
Yeah. But obviously he didn't come up with photography, but he did figure out ways to, with different
Shoot
metals, to put
up
color.
women's skirts.
The paparazzi.
Yeah.
In 1839, he worked on a telegraph line that stretched 21 miles from the Calcutta Botanical Gardens.
Okay. To where?
All over.
All over, so
Yeah.
everyone could be like, "Oh, it's in bloom. Get down here now, fellas."
But it was he was there because he was studying stuff, and he was like, I know how to do this. Let's just give it an experimental go.
Okay.
And it worked, and it went 21 miles.
Yeah, but who cares?
You couldn't walk 21 miles.
No, that's true, but I don't need that.
That's fair. Yeah,
So I've got a
just
telegram that's
call
telling me
someone.
what's happening in the Botanic Gardens, which is frankly all I'm concerned about.
But he got little enough attention for any of this until a fella called Lord Dalhousie was over there in 1847. He
Yeah.
immediately recognised the work and said, William, you're
Well, this is wonderful. I could find out what's happening to the cacti
just send
from
it.
the comfort of my own home.
You up?
only a 21-mile road.
Sorry, I've just been really busy with work lately, but I missed you. We should hang out.
Laughy smiley face. Yeah, I think you up is still pretty
Is that still a
universal.
yeah? Is
I
that what the
don't know.
U stands for?
That's what you. I know people just send like a fucking. I don't know what the Morse code is for an aubergine emoji, but that's what people.
Did.
Yeah, just a long, So this little man showed up in Calcutta, and he was like, "This is great, what you've done here."
Yeah.
Telegram lines and such.
Now you work for me.
Nice.
So this fella, Dalhousie,
Yeah.
he comes in and says, "Jiz, you're doing shocking great work. This seems very interesting. Don't know how anyone's not noticed before. This is a way to communicate with people from hundreds or thousands of miles away,
Well, that is good.
like instantly."
Yeah.
And everyone's like, there's no future in this.
No.
So he decides,
Ah,
he hasn't
it's-
invented the telegram, but they're like, sure, would you bother in like India? It's not.
Yeah.
It's Birmingham to London. That's what you need.
Sure.
But so he sets him off then these experimental telegraph lines, and he sets up in around 2 years, it seems like, something like 20,000+ miles
Okay.
of telegrams that then connect Calcutta to Agra, Bombay, Peshawar, Madras.
Yeah.
The takeaways are unbelievable.
I know. Yeah. This is just.
But this is all with like an unskilled workforce, no bridges over any of the rivers because there's loads of rivers. There's no
Yeah.
roads in a lot of the places he's going through, and it was all done just in time for the mutiny, whatever happened over there back around that time, and
Yeah.
it saved the English Empire. Otherwise, India would have taken back
Oh shit.
some sort of rebels or whatever. I don't know enough about their history, but so that he gets knighted.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's sent back off again, and he does now. There's also a time where he's doing experimental underwater, like subterranean, and like half subterranean, half above ground telegram lines.
Okay.
He's good mates with Samuel Morse. Maybe he saves his life doing like a leg operation or just something like that. But he's on the first boat, the transatlantic telegraph cable. He's on a boat that's doing the first one of those.
Okay.
So it's all pretty cool.
So wait, but he helped the British keep suppressing the Indians.
If you wanted to say that,
Yeah.
you could. Would it be historically correct?
Maybe.
Yes.
Okay.
Seemingly, but he wouldn't have known it at the time.
Well,
But also maybe,
maybe he did.
yeah.
No.
Man just wanted to make telegraphs. He just
Yeah.
liked inventions. He didn't know what they were going to go on to.
Everyone's too stuck on their telegram machines now, man. You'd rather send a telegram with a picture of a aubergine, then hug your own mother. These kids, we've lost something of ourselves with these telegrams.
Now. Oh no, I have two more things to tell you before we get onto it.
Okay.
He was sent over to do the Indian. He would work in the Indian Mint.
Nice.
But that's one of the few things that didn't go well for him because there's seemingly like 1,000 different currencies over there at the time. So he's trying to find like a standard currency for all of that. Yeah. So it doesn't go well for him.
Okay.
He became a surgeon major and a member of the Royal Society.
Nice.
He had 3 wives, a bunch of kids. Added the name Brooke.
To confuse 2 of his wives.
I think
keep them off the trail.
Some places
said
that he did it because he never divorced one of his wives.
Okay. Did he have 3 wives simultaneously?
No. I think one of them might have died when he brought her over to India.
Yeah.
And then she couldn't get in touch with him as she was dying. He's like, I've set that right. But no, so I think maybe he might have left the second wife.
Okay.
And so he changed his name so she wouldn't be able to find him.
That's pretty good.
Because at one point in his life, it's William Brooke O'Shaughnessy, and then afterwards, or did you say Shaughnessy or Shaughnessy?
Don't know.
And then afterwards, it's William O'Shaughnessy Brooke. So I don't know. I don't think it's too important. We're not here to talk about the love lives of the historical figures. That's not.
No.
But he dies at the age of 70. Oh no, 79. That's true in like 1889. But the other account of the reason he changed his name was because that he married into a woman. His family that had a load of money.
Married into a woman.
But she had a load of money, so he had to take the name.
Right, yeah. That's probably fair enough.
I think he might have also called one of his kids after his former dead wife, which is tough for the new missus.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now hopefully that's not the second missus, because she had to deal with all of that, and then he just left her.
You know, you're being a real pill about this, me naming our children after my dead wife. Who I loved.
More than you. But that's all just colour.
Yeah.
Much like the thing he added to Daguerre photography.
Very nicely done.
We're here to talk about.
Yeah.
In 1833, he starts researching a bunch of local plants to see if... Because we're jumping back in time now.
Oh, yeah.
This is not long after he's got over. So he goes over and starts researching a bunch of local plants to find out their medical properties.
Yep.
And after talking to some indigenous people, they pointed him in the direction of some little old plants by the name of cannabis and opium. Give us a go at that.
No. Amazing.
Yeah, people in that part of the world had been using these plants to treat illnesses for centuries. About 800 years at least, maybe 1,000 before Christ.
It's hard to tell because they're so stoned all the
They're
time.
out of it.
It was 200 years here or there.
They were so high they believed in Christ.
Yeah.
But any of the information they found in Western textbooks, they barely referenced these plants.
Yeah.
And if they did, they just talked about their intoxicating effects.
Yeah. So
they weren't using it for medicinal purposes.
Every time they tried to do a report of what was happening, they just got distracted. But there's lots of lists of colours and how vibrant they were and how they're going to change society.
It's class. It makes everything better, man. Have you ever stared at a fire? Have you ever read a telegram when you're high? Have you ever had a bath when you were high? What else were they into?
Who knows? That's why everyone wanted to know what was happening in the botanical gardens. It's like, when's the new weed in? Has that fucking opium plant been blossomed yet?
That's where the name The Wire came from.
Oh, yeah.
But 1839, this is 6 years now after.
Okay.
He writes in the Journal of the Asiatic Society of Bengal, all classes of persons, including their lower Portuguese or Kala Ferengis,
okay,
and especially their females, consume the drug that is most fascinating in its effects, producing ecstatic happiness, a persuasion of high rank, a sensation of flying, voracious appetite, an intense aphrodisiac desire.
Okay.
Sex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also eat a lot of food. Intense appetite.
Yeah, a little bit of that.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Sounds good.
Well, you should have let me smoke before.
You'd have already lost track of what you're talking about.
Yeah, but I'll do that anyway.
Yeah.
So I haven't learned off the script yet.
Yeah.
But
So he's spent 6 years writing about this plant. He's a fucking they all love it, including, if you believe it, the scumbag Portuguese. Everyone, especially the women, love it.
yeah,
And
it's an aphrodisiac of sorts.
yeah, that's the only thing people heard. That's good.
Yeah, it's taken him 6 years to come to this conclusion.
Yeah.
Which
Let me just try another little. Yeah, there it is again.
I really thought he would have just woke up the next morning and been like, "What was the?
Oh,
What was the? It was. I just wrote breakthrough down on the wall."
I just wrote class again. I must investigate further.
But he started his research then out on small
research.
animals.
Okay.
Yeah,
Like blowbacks on
back to
rabbits.
the dogs.
Yeah.
Well, so rabbits are one of them. So it's
Ah.
it's rats, rabbits,
Okay.
fish.
All right.
That's where bongs came from. And then he had to go on to bigger animals like dogs, cats, and pigs.
Yeah.
I saw one for crows and vultures,
All right.
which didn't think
Yeah.
that's a bit much. The last thing you want to be given a vulture is the munchies.
Oh yeah, that's true. It's a bit
It's like-
cruel. Yeah.
Ah, don't worry, man. It's not going to come down for days. It's getting fucking a lot closer.
It's probably like vultures get a bad image. You want to be cool like the crows? Smoke some joints, you know? Have some opium.
But these, they're all carnivorous animals.
Yeah.
And then he'd realised that the other animals, such as horses, cows, sheep, goats, and monkeys, react way less.
So
Almost
he spent 6
non-existent.
years trying to get every animal in India stoned.
Yeah.
Started off with
Two
mice.
of each. Two of each.
Yeah.
He got them all onto an ark and then hotboxed it.
He made it up to monkeys.
But yeah, they all had like very little reaction to it.
Okay.
So he realised that it's. Now I don't know if this is true for people, vegetarians or vegans
Yeah.
versus meat eaters, but you said that any of the ones who just ate grass had no effect from the grass.
No.
Yeah. Now there's an account he has here of a medium-sized dog.
Okay.
In about half an hour, he became stupid and sleepy, dozing at intervals, starting up, wagging his tail as if extremely contented. He ate some food greedily. On being called, he staggered to and fro, and his face assumed a look of utter and helpless drunkenness.
And then I gave him the cannabis. That what you read there is a description of every dog I've ever seen in my life. He's just dude just walked around, ate food, fell asleep, looked stupid.
Hey,
What?
you leave dogs alone.
Yeah, but I like this is probably when he went back to the dogs because last time he gave them cholera
Mm-hmm.
and injected them with salt and stuff. He's like, "Well, hey, listen, I got something to make it up to you." Have you heard of Scooby Doo?
That's what Scooby snacks were.
Yeah, yeah,
What about the turtles?
yeah.
Is that big?
They're probably stoners as well,
That's why they like pizza.
and they live underground.
They don't have any fucking jobs.
Just hang out with a rat.
If you provide healthcare and money to these lower class people, they won't go get jobs. They're just going to live in sewers, eat pizza, and fight crime.
Yeah,
So it's 1939. It's
Yeah.
been 6 years. He's been studying animals.
every animal.
He's been getting them all fairly toasted.
Yeah, is it what if I fucking get this giraffe
It's about
stoned?
it's about time.
I'm going to need a ladder. William, it's time you fucking wrapped up your experiments, alright? Man, shut the fuck. Give me a hippo. Man, give me a hippo.
I just want to see.
Yeah, they're getting less stoned because he's like, as he's progressing, he's just sharing less and less. He's just getting blitzed and then handing a monkey like an empty pipe.
Right, now here's the crux of the story.
Yeah,
It's 1939.
yeah. He's been baked for 6 years.
He's been gone. Yeah, he's been out of it now for about 6 years,
Yeah.
just hanging around with animals. And he's like, finally have to.
He's forgotten more about smoking than you'll ever know. He's also forgotten his own name. What a monkey looks like. Which of the dogs have cholera and which ones are stoned? He's a mess.
offering joints to people. They're like, nah. He's like, this elephant over here is what do you call me? It's like, fucking,
Man, this is fucking strong stuff. I thought that elephant.
man, this hippo is walking on 2 feet. This hippo's pregnant. I'm not pregnant. I'm not a hippo. But it will cure, or you'd like to think, cholera, rheumatism, hydrophobia, tetanus, rabies, and being shit crack.
Okay. But wait, hydrophobia and tetanus are symptoms of rabies. So rabies is a bad one.
Yeah, also none of he does. To be fair, he says it's not a cure for any of these things.
He says that.
Yeah, he openly said, I agree with this man now on a lot of things.
Yeah, I think there's only one cure for rabies, and that's
Another
bite from a dog.
6 injections into the belly.
Yeah,
if
that's true.
Scrubs was to lead me right.
I think if you but by the time you were showing symptoms of rabies, you're gone.
What?
By the time you show symptoms of it, it's too late. It's a horrible, horrible disease.
No, you can get the 6 belly injections.
No, well, you have to get that right after you've gotten bitten.
I've seen Scrubs.
Listen, I got bit by a dog, all right, as we've already talked about. And instead of dealing with it, I just developed, I just used to stay up at night and read about rabies instead of getting the shot. So, I mean, odds are you won't get it, especially in Ireland, because, we don't have it here naturally. And we're an island, so there's not that many dogs coming over from Europe that aren't being checked. But if you get bitten, by the time you start developing symptoms, it's already too late.
I don't know if that's true.
It is?
IRABs.
IRABs.
You won't catch him from
What?
British Bulldog.
British Bull. Yeah. It's horrible. But hydrophobia, that's not a disease by itself. I suppose smoking joints would cure a fear of water. Just getting a fucking...
Just go in.
Go swimming,
Feels
brother.
good.
Yeah.
Float around a little.
What, you've been smoking? Do you want this glass of water? I bet you do.
He says it doesn't really work for any of these.
Yeah.
But it does. It helps the muscle spasms of tetanus and rabies patients. Now, they die anyway. But
Yeah. I mean,
But-
rabies, you're gone.
the awful disease was stripped of its horrors. If not less fatal than before, it was reduced to less than the scale of suffering, which precedes death for most ordinary diseases. So it doesn't cure it, but Christ, it makes it a little easier.
It makes it, all these rabies patients were coming in, man, this guy was foaming at the mouth. He was watching them die in front of my eyes. I took out the weed, started smoking a little bit, made it much better. This ain't so bad.
I was on.
Sucks to be you, brother. It's a little thing called perspective.
Now, anesthetic, he'd said.
Yeah,
It was-
I knew a woman called anesthetic once.
As to the evil sequelae, so unanimously dwelt on by all writers, these did not appear to me so numerous, so immediate, or so formidable as many which may be clearly traced to overindulgence in other powerful stimulants or narcotics, vis-a-vis alcohol, opium, or tobacco. He said, so if you're gonna deal with these problems,
Yeah.
and you're going to try and deal with the pain of any of these things as a relief. Alcohol, opium, tobacco, they're going to cause their own problems.
Yeah.
So you're taking from one hand,
Yeah.
getting high with the other.
Robbing Peter to get blazed. Yes.
To pay Paul for a 25 back.
25 back. Getting Peter on ticket to pay Paul. Okay. That's interesting. So even back then,
He was like, it could be like a local anesthetic, or it can be a way to help people through their pain.
it could be a local anesthetic.
You grow it in your backyard.
He's got different strains to, like, if you smoke this, you're numb.
Yeah, but this is at a time when there was no such thing as any anesthetic.
Yeah.
So you're just...
Bonked on the head.
So he'd said that they
Well,
continue...
no, they've got opium.
and alcohol, I guess.
Yeah.
But he said that the continued use of the drug probably wasn't a great idea because of the delirium that it caused. So like start low, see how you go. If a patient consumed too much cannabis, he gives them something.
Start low. If you don't feel the effects immediately, double up.
Yeah,
and give it about
quadruple.
20 seconds, quadruple.
But he'd said if someone gets too high, he's got a cure.
All right, just bring them to the chill out room.
He gives them stuff to puke the ring up.
Oh yeah,
and then puts leeches on their head, just all around their temple. Get rid of all that bad blood, that bad juju.
Okay.
So he goes back to England in 1841, 2 years after this now, writes up the Bengal dispensary in 1842, and then the Bengal pharmacopoeia in 1844, which goes through the medical benefits of a lot of plants over there and kicks off a big interest about studying the plants all across the world.
I was reading this, the Bengal dispensary, really interesting, but lads back here. What was this one that you said made all the women horny? What was that one?
This ecstatic
is that
women.
What was this one?
Horny and hungry.
For I don't mind about the hungry. My wife's fat enough. What about the horny one? Is it the same one? I'm in. Okay.
Ferengis. I don't know what a Fereng is, but this is a... Turns out that just meant foreigner.
Yeah. Ferengi.
Ferengi, yeah. Oh. But that means over in the same part of the world, when I was over there, they kept calling me a Farang.
Oh, yeah.
Because it means foreigner.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. But they say that like it's a... Like an in joke Farang. Of like, yeah, they won't know. It's like, the Farang. Or Farang. And you're like, yeah... I know what you're talking about. Everyone keeps pointing at me, the only white man in like a whole town full of like locals. They're like, fucking Farang. Like, the fact that you're saying fucking beforehand makes me...
It is piece of shit. Farang.
It's good it's good code. Yeah. But so he goes back over there to England, writes up about this, and then all across America, Europe, Britain, everywhere, everyone's like, this is very interesting stuff.
Tell me more.
So in 1842, here's a quote.
Yeah.
The fourth case of trial, and to him half a grain of hemp resin was given in a little spirit. The first day's report will suffice for all. In 2 hours, the old gentleman became talkative and musical, told several stories, and sang songs to a circle of highly delighted auditors. Nice. Ate the dinners of 2 persons subscribed in the ward, sought also for other luxuries we can scarcely venture to allude to, and finally fell soundly asleep, and so continued until the following morning. Then he woke up and begged hard for a repetition of the medication.
That's good.
I want to know what he was alluding to.
Yeah. But did we watch that together recently? Who sent that to us? The video of like some politician from the 50s, some British politician, went on the BBC and took mescaline, was it? That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just a guy trips it. Well, whatever, the reporter's there, and he's getting them to talk about it, and he's getting them to describe the curtains in his house. He's like, what colour are these curtains? They're most imagined vibrant. I'm sorry, I haven't got the words to describe such majesty, such beauty. What have I told you? These are rather drab curtains. Fuck off.
Yeah, fuck you, man.
Fuck you, man. You're a drab curtain.
The catalepsy could be...
Is that when the cats have epilepsy?
No.
Oh.
Catalepsy, Kevin.
Yeah.
You're uninitiated.
Yeah.
It could, it's when you could be, this fellow was placed in every imaginable attitude, it said, position, I guess, by medical staff. They're just moving him around. They got him high, and then he was able to... He's catatonic, I guess. Yeah. So they said no matter how contrary to the natural influence of gravity that would have been, he'd stick in that position. It just sounded like a man just zonked out on a couch.
Yeah, he just had a lean on, and he kept putting him in different positions, and he just kept slouching back down.
But another patient saw this.
What if we put him on the stairs? Tell him his wife's dead.
Like a slinky.
Any more of that fucking stuff, man.
But another patient had seen this and was vastly amused at the statute-like attitudes. After a loud peal of laughter, after they were moving him around, and this other lad was high, so he was laughing about it. They said that he then said 4 spirits were springing with his bed into the air. After an uncontrollable fit of laughter, he fell into the same state. Within a day, both were back to normal and cured of their rheumatism.
Okay.
Which I don't think is true, because he openly said before that that's not.
Yeah. But this is an Uncle Joe situation. You're so sick in bed with rheumatism your whole life, and then until a child comes along with a ticket to a chocolate factory, and then, you're laughing and springing up around the place. There's some man rolling fat blunts, and then everything's grand all of a sudden until the man goes, and then you realize that actually I'm going back to bed.
You see Uncle Joe just rolling before he goes. We gotta go now. It's a golden ticket. Just give me 2 seconds. I'm not going into a fucking chocolate factory sober.
Yeah.
But
I went into Wonka's back room. He's doing some pretty interesting stuff down there. It probably will not surprise you to know that he is big into synthetic drugs.
But now when he went back, originally he came with all of his findings back to England. He was like, "Here's all the data."
Yeah.
But also,
I wrote down the idea for a sequel to Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Spark.
Hear me out. All the dinosaurs come back, but the DNA is infused with cannabis. So they're all super chill.
They're all sound.
Until and then one of them accidentally gets infused with alcohol. And that's the one that's the issue, man. The rest of them are chill.
But he goes back.
Yeah.
He's got all of his data. He's got the research. But the way to prove that, you have to bring some samples.
Yeah, of course.
So he brings back a big chunk of weed.
Yeah. For medical purposes.
For research.
He does smoke most of it on the way, so he has to go back and try again.
He gives it. He's not for him.
Yeah.
He gives it to the Royal Pharmaceutical Society for studying.
Yeah.
And the Royal Botanical Gardens for growing.
Nice.
Reports of his students in India before he'd left. There's like, look, this is medicine.
Yeah.
It's not safe to give it to the public.
No.
We have to try it ourselves.
Yeah.
First. So, one of his students, there's a little account of him. I found him enacting the part of a Raja, giving orders to his courtiers. He could recognize none of his fellow students or acquaintances. All to his mind seemed as altered as his own condition. He spoke of many years having passed since his student's days, described his teachers and friends with a piquancy which a dramatist would envy, detailed the adventures of an imaginary series of years, his travels, his attainment of wealth and power. He entered on discussions of religion, science, political topics with astounding eloquence, and discovered an extent of knowledge, reading, and ready apposite wit, which those who knew him best were altogether unprepared for. For 3 hours and upwards he maintained the character he had first assumed, and with a degree of ease and dignity perfectly becoming his high situation. A scene more interesting it would be difficult to imagine. It terminated nearly as rapidly as it commenced, and no headache, sickness, or other unpleasant symptom followed the innocent excess.
Okay. Yeah. That's a very nice way of being like, well, he spoke with an eloquence and wit that the people who knew him best were very shocked by. Because usually he's thick as shit.
Or he has social anxiety, and that this helped him.
Maybe this helped him pretend to be an old professor.
But then this fella Peter Squire, a pharmacist back in England, that they team up, and he starts figuring out how to do like tinctures. So you get, because I guess at the time like the smoking it isn't like the biggest way. If you're actually looking for the medicinal purposes, that they just find a way to distill it down into like a tincture, and then you just do droplets.
Okay.
And then he ends up giving it to Queen Victoria, and she's described it for her menstrual pains.
The Queen Victoria.
The Queen Victoria.
Shit.
So he gives her this, and after a couple of days of taking these tinctures, she's on record as saying, "What if we gave Ireland back?" So they took her off of it.
You've gone loose, mum.
But no, yeah, so seemingly it was her menstrual pains that he'd helped cure that. And I don't know if this. Here's my 2 theories for the whole episode.
Yep.
He got knighted because he sorted out her menstrual cramps,
Yeah.
and he used the telegram lines.
Mm-hmm.
This is a deal in operation.
Yeah.
Because then they did say that they used the lines from all those different areas all around India to send back and forth information about those areas and try to figure out more about the country, because it's so dispersed and there's so many different, like, thousands of regions.
Yeah.
You just figure he's getting a good weed map.
Yeah.
He's getting a good map of all the different strains.
Just no one. Yeah.
Yeah.
He had a guy's number in every telegram area. But so what is that? So he got knighted because he brought
They're
weed
saying
from India back to.
They say it's
Victoria.
because of the telegram and saving the British Empire over India, so they could keep the Iron
British
Thumb over.
Empire. Yep. British getting higher.
The Empire strikes.
Yeah. Here's my idea for a Star Wars spin-off. Yeah.
Yeah. And did you know that the cannabis stayed on the British pharmacopoeia until 1932, and in the US until 1941? So up until then, it was still seen as a way, like, medicinal purposes, and then they just...
Yeah. Is that the end of the story now?
That's the end of this one. We have a little bit of stuff to go through, only 2 or 3 pages for the Patreon.
But that's cool. So that's a great. And what, did he ever go back to Limerick?
Doesn't really say much about that.
Yeah.
That ended up spending the next good few years of his life. I think he died of old age, about like nearly 80, which back then going pretty
Very
well. That's
good.
like been 142.
It really is. Or 240.
But
Or 420. But it's good. Good story for the season of
the season to be
legal.
jolly.
Yeah. I thought you were, because I had a joke about because weed activists, whenever you see weed activists like trying to organize protests and stuff, they're always like, and wear a suit down to the rallies that they know we're serious, which first of all no one ever does, but it's like they'll show up wearing suits like fucking Reservoir Dogs. It's like this. That's not how normal people dress.
An outfit made up of just playing cards.
Yeah. It's like, wear a suit. It's like the only suit I have is my fucking Joker suit from The Dark Knight. It's like somehow they look more. Yeah, man, they're not taking us serious. This isn't. Hey, we're just going out there to protest and be taken seriously. So I'm going to dress up as the Joker from The Dark Knight in my purple suit.
Just because it's one of the few things.
and a mask from V for Vendetta.
But
and dreadlocks.
If you go to one of those protests, there's going to be someone who like just pulls out a joint.
Yeah.
There's going to be so mad. It's everywhere. But like, if you go to that, they're like, nah, man, you're not going to be taken seriously for legalizing it for like medicinal reasons or the decriminalization if you're in front of a government building breaking the law.
Legalized.
And you're not able to run away quickly because your legs have gone.
But it's the same argument when you're a kid and you're like, I need a computer for studying. It's going to be the future. Have you heard about Word? Have you heard about Excel spreadsheets? It's for porn, all right? You may as well just, if you're going out there to legalize, it'd be good if the children didn't have epilepsy or whatever. But really, I just want to be able to smoke fat blunts on Parliament Street.
But I've noticed anytime I've gone to a place in the States where it was legal, like California or anywhere else, that they're like, no, if it was just legal, it'd be, you can just go in, get it wherever you want, and it's all safe. I don't, in my entire history, there's never been like a dodgy weed deal that no one's trying to screw you over for. Like, that's the one where you're allowed to go into the person's gaff. You sit down and you're like, can I leave right now? No, just come on, man. Just stay for one more game of Call of Duty. You're like, no, I've bought it now. I want to go home and enjoy it myself. It's like, no. You just sit down.
I just got weed tennis.
Yeah,
weed tennis, I call it.
Yeah, but I've never seen a dodgy one of those deals. And then, but
those aren't the deals that end with like someone pulling a gun. Everyone, be cool, come on, man.
But even then, if you go to like the actual dispensaries, that it's the worst. If you go to like a pharmacy, they're not all on like prescription pills.
Yeah.
if you go to a weed dispensary,
Yeah.
you walk in there and
If you go to an off license, no, they're not drunk.
they're not drunk, yeah. But if you go to like a
Yeah.
weed dispensary, there's just some lad who's just like, "Oh, just tell me what are you actually looking for?" "I'm just looking for something to get me high." He's like, "Man, let me fucking tell you."
Well, you came to the right place, brother. We are still in the weed dispensary, right? Yes.
Yeah,
Like, you do go to a pub.
that'll be $1,200,000. Is he? Did you get that wrong? It's 12 million.
If you give me a blowback, give me 25% off. Yeah. I mean, alcohol is legal, and there's no repercussions for that. Seems pretty good.
We probably indulge in that a little bit too much.
Maybe.
Most of the country.
It's a good argument. I heard someone say once that it's legal. From 11 o'clock most mornings, I could go down and get 2 liters of vodka and drink it. That's perfectly legal. So you should be able to smoke whatever you want.
Yeah, but just not whenever you want. You can't get it. Although that would
But
be
it's the same rules
it'd be-
apply. You can't smoke and drive.
It'd be bullshit though if you were like, if they had the same 10 o'clock cut off for joints.
Yeah.
Because you were like, what do you want it for? I just want to get to bed. Well, sorry, it's after 10 o'clock.
Yeah. They just have a shut off section in Spar with all of the weed behind it. You're like, it's 1 minute pack, come on. The tills, the one
Just the tiny little doors.
Yeah.
And there's just some lad stoned. Like, what the?
Oh.
How is that? I can't. What is the?
It's right there, man.
If you want to finish, if you want to hear the rest of this, give us some money.
Yeah.
Patreon.
We deserve it. I mean, listen to this fucking great content you're getting.
There's like 60 episodes up there
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
Go give us a $5,
Don't worry about
and
it.
then
This show does very wildly in that, like, the episode before this is going to be a conversation with Fintan O'Toole about the state of the country in the last 60 years. And then this one is just, he's the ramblings of a madman who brought weed from India. He's like, what do you get this fucking donkey high? I wonder what it'd be like if you
listen
got
to me. I gotta give it to the students.
And then next week is going to be like a fucking deep dive into Roger Casement. Yeah. You know, you can't say we don't treat. We've got something for everybody, but nothing for
much like a good weed dispensary.
There you go.
But we'll talk about all the other boys, all the other Irish doctors of Hugonomics who've helped the cause over on the Patreon. So good luck.
See ya.
Shafter.